Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Prosperous Womb. So today we're going to dive into trusting the birthing process in your coaching business so that you enjoy emotional freedom, inner emotional freedom. You enjoy creative freedom. You enjoy time and flexibility freedom. You enjoy money and wealth freedom. You enjoy physical and health freedom. And you create a coaching business that becomes the legacy that wraps around your lifestyle. One that doesn't support you to cut back or deny yourself, but allows you to step fully into the abundance, joy, and peace and shalom that God says you already have. Living fully from your identity and being in your assignment. So, when I'm working with clients in Supernatural or in the High-Ticket Profit Explosion VIP Day, I always start with a baseline of faith. The baseline that we're not here to do this based on whatever silly college degrees we have or certifications we have or whatever past experience we've done or the testimonials that our clients have given us. We are here to do this with a fresh perspective, using God's intuitive wisdom that is in us to shine the light as we step into that unknown, the land of possibilities. We consider what is possible today. And I'm inviting you to ask yourself this question in this moment. What is possible for you right now? What does that look like when you're building a coaching business where you want to create a profitable business with a simple business model that supports you to be 100% who you are in every area of your life, so you don't have to cut back, deny yourself, or squish yourself into a ball to fit somebody's version of what you're supposed to be, do, and have in this world. What's possible? The biggest question that triggers the most nervous reaction when it comes to creating a profitable coaching business, it's not about niche, okay? It's not a niche question. It is, what is the ground for you? What is the ground for you? Because what is the ground for you takes into account your mindset, your systems, your strategies, your structure, your energy, your environment, your boundaries, and your passion, commitment, and purpose for the work you're here to do in the world. Trust your birthing process. Trust your system. Trusting the system starts when you go into labor, before the water breaks, before we start to midwife your unique abilities, your full expression, your gifts, the things you've hidden, the things you've rejected, the things you've shamed and dulled in your life, in your personality. Once we start to midwife that in the first trimester of the Midwife CEO Visionary System, you start to see clearly what is possible. And then you identify if this is my ground, because you have to identify what is the ground for you before you even start to create the new up-level version of your coaching business. And this applies to you whether you're making $12 million a year. It applies to you whether you're making $1,000 a month. It applies to you whether you're making $500,000 a year. It does 10x growth, exponential impact, does not care what you've done yesterday. It doesn't care what the testimonials have said. It doesn't care what results you've created in the past. That is completely irrelevant to the future we're building right now together, okay? And the thing with money, before we move on, the thing with money is that money does not care how hard you've chosen to work in the past. This is huge because the key framework of the Midwife CEO Visionary System to create this freedom, to enjoy the freedom that God has given you, is based on the fact that you work wiser, not harder. And we're programmed to work harder because that is a cry for validation. It's a cry for, look at me. Look how efficient I am. Look at how smart I am. Look at how good I am. Nobody gives a shit. Okay? Seriously. Money does not care. We start with a premise that we are choosing to midwife, to birth, to grow, to evolve with joy, with shalom. And from this place, what are the possibilities and what are we trusting in? Faith already knows you've done it. So act like it. That's our premise. Now that you've raised your ground, which means your boundaries are different, it means the way you look at life is different. It means the way you see your challenges is different to how you saw it at 2x level. What are you fully committed to in this moment? We consider this before we create the framework in your business. We consider this no matter how much money you've already made, how many clients you've already worked with, and how long you've been in your coaching business already. This is an up level from wherever you are. Up level affects everyone, whether you're making $1 million a day or not. It's an up level to your full expression of freedom in the world. Stepping fully into your assignment and has nothing to do with the dollar amount in your bank account. Okay? I say this because I know people always say to me, but Mimi, last year I made $7 million. I'm past this. No, honey, none of us are. We're growing and evolving every single day. Okay? So let's get back to the Midwife CEO Visionary System, or whatever your coaching methodology or framework is. You've raised your ground. What are you fully committed to? What you're fully committed to from a 10x, 25x, or 30x perspective is very different from what you were committed to at a 2x level when you were making $500,000 a year or $10 million a year. It's very different because now you remove the bottlenecks and put them in the 80%. And from this 20% perspective, you're asking better questions. From this 20% perspective, you focused on only three things or less every single day. From this 20% perspective now that you're stepping fully into your 10x, whether you're coming from $7 million a year or $1 million a year, whether you're coming from impacting 1 million people, one person, doesn't really matter. Whether you're coming from a niche or non-niche, does not matter. From this new perspective, what are you committed to? It affects the questions that you ask. It affects how you walk into the darkness of the unknown. Do you use the how metric of how? Or do you use your intuitive wisdom to guide you in the darkness of how? That is how we co-create with God. Faith, it already knows. So act like it and trust your birthing process. You're the midwife, you're the CEO, you're the visionary. Trust your birthing process that God has already put inside of you. When you identify what you're committed to, it gives you that long-term 20-year, 30-year vision of how you see your business going with 100% flexibility put into it. Okay? What does that look like? The first thing I ask is, as we're creating this framework, as we're creating your offer suite, your up-leveled offer suite, you might already have all your coaching offers, so we don't have to do anything with that, but we'll up-level and revise and tighten it up so that you start to work with aspiration. You start to work with aspiration and come from aspiration and freedom. What's the difference between you and the other coaches who are stuck in 2x? The coaches who are stuck at 2x and below are working from inspiration and motivation. And they're fixing pain. Okay? They're fixing pain and making the results happen for their clients on a very short-term, finite basis, and looking at success from a finite month perspective, like a 20K month, a 250K month, a 7-figure year, an 8-figure year. You, as the aspirational, high-value, high-level coach, are looking at things from the possibilities, the realm of possibilities, what is possible for your client. What is that exponential vision and how far can you go with it? how much growth can happen in this package, in this container. How much joy can your client's nervous system hold in this space? How much faith can you hold for your client so she walks in that gap even when she thinks it's impossible? Aspirational. This is where you're no longer a pain fixer. You're no longer doing root canals and talking to the pain and drilling into the pain so they can see how bad their lives are and they just want to die if they don't have your offer. No, this is where they choose to come into working with you because they love themselves enough to up level. This is where they choose to create freedom and not run from what they're hiding from. It's a freedom to choose, not a freedom from. Okay? The reason why I talk about this is because it affects your pricing, it affects your packaging, it affects your messaging, it affects how you market and on which platforms you choose to market. It affects how you sell, what you sell, and who you sell to. It also affects how powerfully and intimately you're going to scale your coaching business when you're ready to do it. And it also supports systems and strategies that allow all of this to coexist in the ecosystem of your business without you having to do this before you do that, or having to fix this before you do that. This is all percolating. You're holding all of this at the same time, not balancing, you're holding because you have overflow space for the energy of your business. Okay, so one of the questions, two questions that I invite you to consider at this point in your business are, well, three questions. The first one I've already asked, what is the ground for you? So have you raised the ground, or are you still trying to raise the ceiling? What is the ground for you? Because remember, exponential coaching business has no ceiling. We're coming to this without the finite K, 250K a month, whatever. We've taken all the ceilings off, and now we're just growing and evolving until we die, okay? So what is the ground for you? That determines your questions, it determines what questions you ask, what answers show up for you in your intuitive wisdom. It also determines how much faith you have and how you trust your birthing system and how you choose to midwife your business. It doesn't matter if you're a health coach, a relationship coach, a science coach, a God coach, a love coach, a sex coach. This applies to all of us. The second question is, how fully committed are you to your vision, your mission, the thing you say you're creating in your business? When you come to me and say, this is what I'm creating in my business, how committed are you to this? I'll tell you why I asked this question. Because for every commitment that we say we have at least 3 competing commitments that just X out that big commitment. When I started my coaching business, I was working with it was 100% attorneys, okay? Before I started working with coaches and accountants and attorneys, it was 100% attorneys because that's what I knew, that was my network, and it was the easiest place to tap into for coaching clients, right? And attorneys trust attorneys. So that's why it's easier to get clients as an attorney. Was that I was working with clients who, let's call her Amy, okay? And Amy's a client who wants to make partner at her law firm at the time. She is now making $450,000 a year. She knows that, once she's, bought into a partnership and all that, in the next 18 months, her goal is $1.5 million a year. Her goal is also quality of life. She wants to lose weight. She wants to have a thriving business because in 5 years, her goal is to move out into her own solo practice business where she's working with her own clients and multiplying, doubling, 10xing her own income and her life and her impact. But in the meanwhile, while she's doing this, she wants to lose weight, she wants to be healthy, she wants to get home every day before 8 p.m. so she can have dinner with her husband and her 2 daughters. She also wants to be able to drop her kids off at school 3 times a week. She wants to be able to pick them up from school at least once a week, and she wants to be involved in the extracurricular activities. Her goal is to prioritize her family and her relationships outside of work so that she can thrive as a person first and then come into work and bring that person into work with her. So I asked Amy, that's great. That's wonderful. I had the same commitment as an attorney. Yeah, we all do. Now, Amy, what are your top 3 hidden commitments that counter that one commitment and make that one never work for you? It's not your mindset. It's not that you don't have the right strategy. It's not that you don't have the money to pay the coach. What is the number one out of those 3 hidden commitments? That is the problem. I've done a lot of videos where I talk about killing the good girl paradigm. You got to kill that witch. You got to kill her. Amy's number one competing commitment was that she was a people pleaser. So when you're a people pleaser, you attract the crap that you don't want. So every day, without fail, she wants to leave the office at 7 o'clock or 7:45 so she can go home and have dinner, right? And build a better relationship with her family and her husband, and just be there and enjoy the gifts God has given her outside of a law firm. Every day between 4:30 and 6 o'clock, it never failed. The partner will walk into her office and give her an assignment that was due yesterday, because partners don't have a sense of time. It's not linear for them. It's actually backwards. So everything is due yesterday. And so she would have to work late, and she would say, Mimi, I have tried. No matter what I do, he comes into my office and he gives me this. And what am I supposed to say? What do you want? What are you committed to? And what are you willing to sacrifice and let go of? It's not even a sacrifice, because when you raise the ground, it's not a sacrifice. It's the bullshit that has to go. What are you committed to say no to support you to get the thing you want? The thing you want is not getting home to your family at 8 o'clock. The thing you want is not that. The thing you want is that thing you said you wanted in 5 years that you're afraid to create today, your own business. That was the bottom line for Amy. So once she started working on that good girl paradigm and quit that saying yes because she was afraid to be fired, honey, you're begging to be fired. To get to your vision, you probably need to be fired yesterday. Once she made that decision to focus on not the stepping stone of, when I make partner, buy into somebody else's partnership, then make $1.5 million, then I can quit my job, then I can go do this. Once she committed to her real vision, she cut out the 80% bullshit, which was pleasing the partner, pleasing the firm, doing whatever she had to do, and focused on the top 3 things to create that life she wanted now, where she gets to say, I'm leaving at 7, I'm leaving at 4, I'm going to my daughter's play to do the thing, okay? So you have a coaching business, I have a coaching business. What is it that is the hidden commitment that is killing your vision in your business, that's killing your freedom, where you're saying things like, I want the freedom from this. I want to be free. I want to be free from this so I can do this. What is the thing that you can say where you can choose the freedom that you're creating, where you can come from the future and quantum leap today because you're focusing on the commitment, not the bullshit steps in between you and the commitment? That is the power of a signature framework that has you as the midwife, the visionary, and the CEO. A lot of signature frameworks just have you as the midwife, birthing the thing, the exciting part. I'm so creative, so every day I have a new offer. Confusion, bottleneck in the leadership gap, okay? When you're just the visionary, you're confused because you have all these great ideas and you don't have the intuitive guidance and wisdom to distill them into the 3, or to focus, to bring them to actually fruition, because you're in la la land with your visions. When you're just the CEO, you're concerned about profit margins, the profit line, how much are we making? Is it a K, 3K month, a 10K month, 100K year? But when you combine all 3 and work with God, stepping out in faith and trusting the birthing process, allowing that intuitive guidance to be the light that shines in the darkness of your doubt, the light that shines in the darkness of the challenges. When the mountain is so big, it is that intuitive guidance that tells the stupid mountain to move out of your way. That's what allows you to choose the coach you want to support you on this journey. The coach that knows you can do this thing without her. The only reason why she's on your team is to remind you of who you are. The only reason that your coach is on your support team is to remind you when you forget. You already know, and you can do this on your own without her, but she reminds you of the God in you, to tune in to what God says about you, to trust the birthing process. Because when you're giving birth to that baby, you just need to do what you do, and God's doing God's part in you. That baby knows how to breathe through the birth canal to come out. That baby knows what to do. You didn't have to do anything to have that baby grow. It knows what to do. You need to know your what in the birthing process and focus on breathing through that process so that you see clearly the vision, so that you know how powerful the mission is, so that that trumps the mountains of challenges you think you have in your life, relationship, and business. It also gives you the wisdom to know that your divine intuitive guidance is the how DNA that God has put in you. Do you trust your birthing system? Do you have a signature framework? Is it one that's thrown together by a business coach, or a strategic coach, or a mentor? Or is it one that you went deep inside of you from a 10x, 25x, 30x perspective, forgetting what's behind you, forgetting the money you've made, forgetting the results you've co-created, and from this moment choosing what is possible to up-level into your new space from the future, considering what is most important to you, how high your ground is, what you're committed to, and knowing in the background that there are those 3 to 5 competing commitments that you have made a contract with to screw your life over every time you want to move forward. Let me know how this lands for you, and apply to work with me if you're the coach who knows, okay, I need to tap into what God has given to me, into my own prosperous womb. I don't need Mimi's formula. She's here to guide and support me as my intuitive guide, as my midwife. This midwife CEO visionary system takes care of that. I trust that birthing process. Apply to work with me in Supernatural or the High-Ticket Profit Explosion VIP Day. For those who say, Mimi, I'm not ready for private coaching at this point, perfect. I have private coaching for you on a different level. It's called the High-Ticket Profit Explosion Workshops. Go to highticketprofitexplosion.com. You have access to every single thing you need in your coaching business, that you deserve in your coaching business, from energetics to expanding your nervous system, to strategies, systems, and structures, to coaching frameworks and methodology, to your offer suite, and to creating that one offer that will pay you for the rest of your life. Let me know how this lands for you. Leave in the comments below, and let's work together.